Hello everybody, my name is Ed0626 as you already know, and I am here on some Battlefield 1 TDM gameplay on the map Ballroom Blitz. And today's commentary is kind of a serious one. You know, with Battlefield 1 in its twilight, I've been wondering this question for a long time now. Was this game truly the success that everybody projected it to be in its early going? And honestly, I'm kind of indifferent about it. I'm not going to argue the fact that I honestly, and let me say this. Let me start by saying this. This game brings me joy, but it also brings me a lot of frustration and anger at the same time. Never have I ever wanted to be as good at a game as any of the Battlefields I've played, which is Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1. There's a reason I've called myself for the longest time now one of the best medics in the game. You know, I desperately wanted to be, good at this game. And maybe that's the reason why I, always got so little ragey sometimes when I played. So if you ever played with me, any of my friends, I sincerely apologize. Not really, but I'm just joking. But honestly, I look back at this game and I'm like, there was a lot of great things about this game, but at the same time, there was also a lot of not so great things. Things like grenade spam, snipers to me were a bit of an issue. Sniper sweet spots were a pain sometimes. Shooting a dude in the chest at a certain distance for like 75%, that got a bit frustrating after a while. Yeah, and then just some other things that bother me even now, like this one bomber type, the heavy bomber type plane that like shoots down mortars and shit and completely obliterates infantry. That's been bugging me a little bit, I ain't gonna lie. The conquest system is still broken, don't care what anybody says. But at the same time, there are still some things in this game that I thoroughly enjoy. Like, by the way, I am using the rifle grenade. I sincerely apologize to any medics that play this game that I may offend. I know it's a cardinal sin, but I think I was probably just doing a challenge or some shit that I had to do rifle grenades for, and I was just, oh god. I look at it now and I just look at it in disgust, to be honest with you. If you've seen the look on my face, you'll understand. But, so with all my, ranting about, this game behind, there are some things I did enjoy about playing this game. Things like, just the fact that it was a World War I game. Think about it like this. When is the last time you've ever played a World War I game? The only games I can think of that are in the World War I setting that are mildly successful, and I use the term mildly very loosely, I should say very successful, are games like Verdun, which I've never really played, but I heard it's very good on PC. So games like Verdun and Battlefield 1, Now Battlefield 1 may have, split the community very, very, in a big way with some of the things that were added in the game, but I think just the fact that it was World War I alone left the community very split. But for some reason, this game always had me coming back to it no matter what it was. No matter how much bullshit that was in this game, there was always a way that I just kept playing it. I don't know what it is about it. And I honestly, I have to say, I truly love this game. No matter how much joy or anger it brings me, it's a game I truly love to play. And I don't think many games do that for me nowadays. But the other thing that, there are some other things in this game, though, that, do make me question whether it was a successful game or not. And that is just that's just the straight up, what's the word I'm looking for, how the DLC was handled. Now, don't get me wrong, the DLC maps are probably some of the best map packs I've played ever. The maps the maps that they gave us are just really fantastic. Maps that I never thought would ever happen, or things that would happen in these maps I never thought would actually be a thing, like, the gas canisters on Caporetto, Dreadnought versus Dreadnought on Helgoland Bite, that type of shit. And then there's just the overall Russian DLC, which is fantastic. It's honestly the best DLC in the game. But the problem with the map packs were just how they were released. You know, our first map, the game came out in October 2016. It took until about February, March-ish for the first DLC to drop, which is understandable. I could see that. I could see that being the reason. Maybe a little earlier would have been preferable. But then after that is what really killed it. After that, we waited several months until the month of September to even play anything regarding the new Russian DLC, the Russian DLC maps. You know, it was honestly torturous, you know. And even the maps that we got over the summer from DICE, which were Nouvelle Nights and Prise de Terreur, or Prise de Turd, as I call it, because it's honestly one of the worst maps in the game. You know, they weren't all that great. They were decent. I enjoy Nouvelle Nights. But I hate Prise de Terreur. There's another thing. I mean, just the maps themselves were incredibly good. I mean, I may not like Prise de Terreur and Foul Fortress and maybe one or two other ones, but and even Ballroom I'm not even a huge fan of. But these maps gave us that World War I feel that we never really experienced before. And as I said before, when's the last time you've ever really experienced a World War I-esque game? It's not very often. Like I said, it's not very often you see that. And that's that. But and honestly, going off a little tangent here, this is the last of its kind. I honestly believe that Battlefield 1, I should say, is the last of the World War I genre. I don't see any other game development team even considering making a World War I game. I really don't. I think Battlefield 1 is the last of its kind. While it had a pretty short run, it had a really, decent run at the same time. Now, as I was saying, about going back to the map packs, I kind of went on another tangent. And then we had the Turning Tides maps where they released half the map pack, and then they released the other half of the map pack like a month later. That was a pain. And then we waited a while for only 3 maps and a game mode that no one really gives a shit about in Apocalypse, which honestly had the potential to be so much better, but wasn't. And I was very, very disappointed because I really only enjoy playing Somme, and I really only enjoy playing Somme, even though it's Conquest Assault, because Passchendaele is probably my second favorite, and then Caporetto is okay, I do enjoy shooting those gas canisters, though, so. I mean, and the other thing that bothers me about Battlefield 1, because this is when COD was still killing itself slowly, and let's be honest, COD is still slowly killing itself, but this is when everybody truly thought that Call of Duty was on its deathbed. Like, Infinite Warfare was about to be released. People were sick of the boost jumping genre of Call of Duties. Black Ops 1 left a dividing taste in some people's mouths. I straight up hate the game. Other people's like the game. People hated Infinite Warfare as a whole. I don't know why the fuck I can't hit that guy. But, this was supposed to be the game that was the quote-unquote COD killer, and it was projected to be that way for several people, whether they just straight up hate Call of Duty or are huge Battlefield fanboys. I hadn't played Battlefield for several months leading up to this game's release and said to myself, you know what? This might be the game that puts the final nail in the coffin for Call of Duty. Call of Duty will never ever come back to its once prominent reign that it had in the first-person genre. It's time for Battlefield to finally take that role, and I'm not sure if this game really did that. Actually, I'm not just not sure. I'm pretty positive that Battlefield 1 did not do that, because the game, they kind of divided up their own community with how things were. Because, like I said before, some people like the World War I genre, some people like some of the mechanics, other people whose names I won't mention straight up disliked it. And through numerous patches and that type of stuff, people thought that the game was fixed when sometimes more issues would just come up. it was a very, very difficult time for many of us as Battlefield fans. Even some people like my friend Hitman26, who is, Mr. Battlefield as we call him, he even doesn't really play the game that much anymore, only because he really doesn't, he's already beaten the game for one, and he just doesn't enjoy it much anymore. I mean, I can't really speak for him, but he's welcome to come on and never talk about it, what he thought were the problems of the game, believe me. But, I can't speak for him. But that's that, man. I mean, I got another minute left in this gameplay, but it's just, did you think that Battlefield 1 was the success it was meant to be? Like I said before, I can't really say it didn't. It wasn't a success overall because it sold a bunch of copies. But with that success came numerous other problems that people now question what the status of Battlefield 2018 is for them, because some people will have left Battlefield altogether, and some people say Battlefield 2018 is the turning point, or not the turning point, this a huge point in this game series' history. Anyway, my name is Ed0626. I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great day.